to the deep dive. Today we're cutting through the noise, getting straight to the facts on a pretty alarming global viral threat that's spiking right now, Chikungunya virus. And hey, before we really get into it, if you find this kind of clear breakdown useful, you should definitely check out Mind Expansion Daily. That's where we put all this kind of synthesized info. Seriously, head over there. And while you're at it, please do hit like and subscribe for Mind Expansion Daily. It honestly helps us keep doing this. Okay, Chikungunya. Even the name. It's fascinating, right? It comes from the Makonde language.
Yeah, it means that which bends.
Exactly, that which bends, which is, just a terrifyingly accurate description of the kind of crippling joint pain it causes.
It really is.
It was discovered back in Tanzania in 1952, and for a long time it was sort of seen as this tropical curiosity.
Right, something maybe you'd read about but didn't expect nearby.
But our sources are showing a huge shift. Here in 2025, it's absolutely a clear, present, and frankly, rapidly surging global health issue. It's not just tropical anymore.
Mm-hmm. And that's precisely why we pulled together this material. We've got WHO fact sheets, real-time alerts from X, clinical research. Our goal here is simple. Give you the essentials. A reliable shortcut to understanding how it spreads, what the symptoms really feel like, and crucially, how to prevent it.
Because the bottom line hasn't changed, has it?
No. Still no specific cure. Vaccines are thankfully in trials, which is good news, but for now, preparedness, understanding the risk, that's absolutely key.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. The virus itself. What exactly is this thing causing all this pain, and how does it get around?
Scientifically speaking, it's classified as an alpha virus. It belongs to the Togaviridae family.
Alpha virus. What does that mean, practically?
Well, basically, it's a single-stranded RNA virus. And typically, these alpha viruses are transmitted by arthropods.
Insects, basically.
Exactly, like mosquitoes. And as you said, this specific one, CHIKV, was first identified way back in that 1952 Tanzanian outbreak.
But the mosquitoes are the real engine driving this current surge, right?
Absolutely. The delivery mechanism is key. The primary vectors, the main carriers, are the Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus mosquitoes. You might know them from things like dengue or Zika.
Ah, yes. Those usual suspects.
Pretty much. They're involved in the natural cycle, which can involve non-human primates, but importantly for us, it cycles between humans and these mosquitoes, especially in urban areas where they, thrive.
Okay, so just to be crystal clear, I can't catch this from someone coughing near me or shaking their hand.
That's right. That's a really critical point epidemiologically. There's no evidence of human-to-human transmission. It needs that mosquito intermediary.
But infected people still play a big role.
Oh, absolutely. Here's where it gets, quite concerning from a public health standpoint. Infected humans become amplifiers during what's called the viremia stage.
Viremia, meaning virus in the blood.
Exactly. It's when the virus is actively multiplying in the bloodstream, and the levels can be staggering. Our research shows patients can have concentrations up to, get this, 10 to the 9th power RNA copies per milliliter of blood.
10 to the 9th. That's 1 billion copies.
1 billion copies per milliliter. Yes. Just think about that density.
Wow.
So an infected person is essentially a highly potent reservoir. Any susceptible mosquito that bites them during this viremic period is almost guaranteed to pick up the virus.
And then it just keeps the cycle going.
Precisely. It accelerates the spread dramatically, especially in crowded urban settings where people and these mosquitoes live close together.
That billion copy detail, that really puts the transmission potential into perspective. And it explains this 2025 surge we're seeing. Let's look at those numbers, the reality check from the sources. It's quite stark. If we look towards Asia, there's real panic in China's Guangdong province.
Yes, the reports from there are concerning.
The sources point to, a huge jump. 2,238 new cases reported in just 1 week in mid-September in Jiangmen City alone.
And they've linked that spike pretty directly, haven't they?
Yeah, it seems to be a combination of increased holiday travel, people moving around while potentially infected, and just high levels of mosquito activity locally. A perfect storm, really.
And it's crucial to understand this isn't just happening far away. We're seeing significant local transmission, what we call autophonous, spread right in Europe now.
France specifically.
Yes, France is reporting over 500 locally acquired infections this year. That means people getting infected there, not bringing it back from travel. The real hotspot seems to be the PCA region. That's Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur down south.
Yeah.
Very popular area.
Right, the Riviera.
Exactly. Over 100 cases, 103, I believe, just in the Alps Maritimes Department. We've even seen specific alerts on X about cases popping up in places like Antibes, major tourist spots.
So the mosquitoes are established and transmitting effectively right there.
That's the worrying part. These vectors are successfully setting up shop and maintaining transmission cycles in densely populated European cities. It really highlights how far this virus's reach has expanded.
And zooming out, this kind of explains the WHO's update from June, right? They confirmed 119 countries are now affected.
119. It's
Yeah.
a staggering number.
And it brings back memories, doesn't it? That huge outbreak in the Americas back in 2013, 2014. What was it, over 1 million cases?
1.3 million reported cases, yes. It shows the potential scale when conditions are right. This isn't just a few isolated incidents. The whole map of risk is changing.
Okay, let's pivot to the human experience of this, the symptoms. When someone gets bitten and infected, what actually happens? What does that which bends feel like?
Well, after the mosquito bite, there's an incubation period, usually about 3 to 7 days. Then the acute phase hits, and it often hits hard and fast.
Oh, so.
Characterized by a sudden, very high fever. We're talking 102, sometimes up to 105 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 39 to 40.5 Celsius.
Oof. But the real defining thing is the joint pain, the arthralgia.
Absolutely. That's the hallmark. It
Yeah.
affects about 80% of people who get symptoms. And it's severe, often debilitating joint pain.
What makes it so bad?
A couple of things. It's typically symmetrical, meaning it affects the same joints on both sides of your body. And it often hits both small joints, like fingers, wrists, ankles, and large joints, knees, hips, shoulders, all at the same time. It's this intense, widespread pain, this polyarthralgia, that literally forces people into that bent-over posture.
Constantly.
Exactly. Beyond that severe joint pain and high fever, the sources, like the NICD in South Africa, often describe a very flu-like onset.
Some muscle aches, headache.
Yep, myalgia, muscle pain, severe headache are very common. And a rash is quite frequent too, appearing in maybe 40 to 50% of cases.
Any other less common signs?
Yeah, some people experience nausea, vomiting, sometimes conjunctivitis, pink eye, and occasionally swollen lymph nodes, lymphadenopathy. But the fever and the joint pain are really the big ones.
Now, here's the part that I think is really sobering. It's not always just a short, sharp illness you get over, is it? There's this long shadow.
That's right. This is possibly the most concerning aspect for many. The risk of developing post-CHIK chronic arthralgia.
Meaning the joint pain just lingers.
It persists for months or sometimes even years after the initial infection is gone. The data varies, but sources suggest anywhere from 10% up to maybe 50% of patients can experience this chronic phase.
60%. That's incredibly high.
It is. And when you think about the scale of outbreaks like the ones we're seeing now, you're potentially creating this huge population of people suffering from chronic pain.
Which must have knock-on effects.
Absolutely. It leads to a significant economic burden, people unable to work, long-term healthcare needs. It's not just a week of feeling awful. For a substantial number, it really becomes a long-term chronic condition impacting their quality of life.
That potential for long-term disability really underscores why prevention is so critical. We're dealing with mosquitoes here, so let's talk about, well, mosquito warfare. What are the key strategies?
Yeah, vector control is absolutely foundational because, like we said, there's no cure, so stopping the bite is paramount. Public health advice, from agencies like PAHO, consistently emphasizes eliminating standing water.
The breeding grounds.
Exactly. That's where Aedes mosquitoes lay their eggs. So getting rid of stagnant water in buckets, tires, gutters, plant pots, it's crucial.
And personal protection.
Also key, using effective insect repellents, things containing DET, picaridin, IR3535, or oil of lemon eucalyptus are usually recommended. Wearing long sleeves and pants, especially during peak mosquito biting times, which for Aedes is often during the day.
Screens on windows, too, I assume.
Definitely. Good window and door screens are important barriers. The sources also mention community efforts, like these Santos Mutirões in Brazil, which are basically organized community cleanup drives, getting everyone involved in removing breeding sites.
Okay, and let's just reiterate the treatment situation. If you do get sick, since there's no specific antiviral, what's the approach?
Management is purely supportive. It focuses entirely on relieving the symptoms. During that acute phase, it's mostly about rest, staying hydrated, and using acetaminophen paracetamol to manage the fever and the initial pain.
What about things like aspirin or ibuprofen?
Generally, NSAIDs like ibuprofen are avoided in the acute phase, especially until dengue fever can be ruled out because of potential bleeding risks associated with dengue. But acetaminophen is usually considered safe.
And for those unlucky enough to get the chronic joint pain?
For the long-term arthralgia, Management often shifts towards using NSAIDs then, under medical guidance, of course, to help manage inflammation and pain. And physiotherapy becomes really important trying to maintain joint function and mobility.
But amidst all this, there is maybe a glimmer of hope, something spurred on by this 2025 surge, the vaccine situation.
Yes, thankfully, the increased global concern and these recent outbreaks have really lit a fire under vaccine research. There's a vaccine developed by Valneva that's currently in late-stage trials.
And the results look promising.
Early reports are suggesting an efficacy rate of around 65%. Now, it's not licensed or widely available yet, but it's definitely progress.
65% isn't perfect, but it's certainly better than nothing.
Absolutely. Having a potentially effective preventive tool like that on the horizon offers some real reassurance. It shows the scientific community is responding strongly to this expanding threat.
Okay.
So as we sort of wrap up this deep dive, I think the main message has to be vigilance. This chikungunya surge really demands our attention globally.
Key takeaways seem to be, remember the mosquito vectors.
Yep.
Strictly mosquito-borne. The severity isn't just the acute illness, but that very real risk of long-term chronic joint pain.
That long shadow, yes.
And right now, our best weapons are prevention, mosquito control, personal protection, and managing symptoms if infection occurs.
That sums it up well. Preparedness is key.
So think about this. We've heard 119 countries are affected. We know the Aedes vectors are spreading, hitting places like southern France, major urban centers. These mosquitoes love warmer weather and dense population.
Right. Ideal conditions for them.
So here's something to really chew on. How might accelerating climate change and continued global urbanization fundamentally redraw that map of 119 countries over, say, the next 10 years? Could chikungunya, this bending virus, actually become endemic, a permanent fixture, in completely new, more temperate regions?
That's a sobering thought. The potential for range expansion is definitely there.
It is. Well, we hope this deep dive gave you the essential facts you need on chikungunya today. If you found this useful, maybe consider supporting the show. You can buy us a coffee. The link's right down there in the description. And we genuinely want to hear from you. Leave a comment. Did you agree with our summary? Disagree? What are your thoughts? And finally, please, tell us where you're listening from. Just drop your location in the comments. We're really trying to see our reach grow worldwide. Thanks so much for joining us.